High School. This is the regular board meeting and discussion meeting, combined meeting for Monday, December 10th, 2018. And I'd like to start off by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Washington Elementary School. And Melissa Nelson, principal, is going to lead them off. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hi, I'm Lucia Madison, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Nia Stanov, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Hadia Yobe, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Isabella Shane, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Michelle Young, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Noah Claiborne, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Lillian Matthew, and I'm in 5th grade.
Hi, I'm Ben Kramer, and I'm in 5th grade.
Mindfulness means being aware of the present moment without judgment. During class, we take a moment to be mindful by taking deep breaths and focusing on the sounds around us. This helps us to concentrate, do our best work, and make good choices.
Please join me in sitting tall in your chairs. Close your eyes or look down at your lap. Take a deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Listen to the sounds in the room. Take another deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Open your eyes.
Washington is a place where students and staff promote a positive and caring school environment. At the beginning of the year, we kicked off our Great Kindness Challenge, also known as #ChooseKind, with an assembly from Gab Squad. We continued this challenge in a variety of ways. The first was saying hello to one another. Our 5th grade safety patrol is great at greeting everybody and spreading kindness to more people.
During reading, we talk about how the novels we read connect to our daily lives and how to learn from them. We make connections to being kind and learn life lessons. The PTA has been a huge supporter of our novel reading by donating novels to children in our school. Thank you, Washington PTA, for being so generous in choosing kind.
At Washington Elementary, we include others. If anyone sees a student alone, we immediately make sure they are okay. We ask them if they would like to join us. Nobody has to be alone at Washington. Everyone loves a good surprise. It's really awesome to have a kind, heartfelt message from a peer recognizing you as an individual. This is what has begun at Washington. We give nice notes, a little note posted to a locker to one another. This brightens the day for those individuals receiving it and the student who has given it.
Washington Warms Winter is our current service project. We gathered warm winter clothes and donated them to the Salvation Army. We collected 100 hoodies, 75 coats, 74 pairs of gloves, and a lot more. At Washington, we always try to think of other people who don't have as much as we do. Thank you for listening. In conclusion, we have one final presentation.
1981 was the year of significance and one to remember. Ronald Reagan became the 40th president. Sandra Day O'Connor was named to U.S. Supreme Court. Raiders of the Lost Ark debuted in theaters. Justin Timberlake was born, and Jan Klein joined the Mount Lebanon School District.
Ms. Klein has guided and directed the financial path of Mount Lebanon School District for more than 3 decades. In math class, we learned that that's a really long time. Ms. Klein is probably best known for amazing financial achievements for the district, winning the ASBO Meritorious Budget Award for 24 years in a row, and the ASBO Award for Financial Reporting for the last 33 years. We weren't sure why that was important, so we asked for some other information to share.
Did you know that Miss Klein graduated from the WNJ College and that she got her MBA from Pitt? But more than being the super smart and a financial wizard, we learned that Miss Klein is a black belt in karate, and a pretty good ballroom dancer.
As we analyze this text that is Miss Klein, we can infer that she is one cool lady that will be missed when she retires. We are not sure if she would have been a winner on Dancing with the Stars, but in honor of her service over the years, we would like to present Ms. Klein with this mirror ball trophy to show that she will always be a champion to Mount Lebanon.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Klein, do you want to have any words with the kids? Are you speechless this time, or?
Yeah. First of all, I want to thank you. I need you to know that every day that I have done this job over 37 years, I thought of kids like you and thought, I'm doing something to help you have the best education possible. So clearly it has worked. Thank you so much. I'm speechless.
I got one more thing to say to the boys and girls. That was a wonderful presentation. You stole some of the thunder from my little speech that I'm going to be giving here in a moment, but that's okay. And also, I want to know that Washington School has a particularly special place in my heart, and you probably don't know why. But it is my favorite school, and it's because a few years ago I went there as an elementary student, too. So it's nice when I come back and visit, and I know quite a few of the teachers there, and it's a great place to learn and a fun place. So thank you for again tonight, everybody, and let's give them a round again, everybody.
Hold up, guys. Oh, they do have something for each one. Okay, very good. Thank you note for you. Okay. Most importantly, thank you for the mindful moment at the very beginning. That was a very nice way to start our meeting. Yes. Yeah, right there.
Oh, thank you. Look what I got in the back.
A diamond. I can't imagine what I would get.
Standing with his camera.
Mr. Stengel is right there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Appreciate it.
That's what I said.
Who are you looking for?
Thank you.
Good looking guy with that dark suit.
Thank you. It's very cute.
Isn't that beautiful?
Cousins, grandparents.
Can't have mine.
I know.
Dare.
More parents? Now, we'd like to get one with Miss Klein. Mr. Reamer and I will get out, and Miss Klein will get one with you and the kids. Mr. Stengel, you got... She fits right in with them. Thank you, boys and girls.
That's creative.
Thanks, buddy. Give me a shake there. Nice job.
What is nice about him, sir?
You still playing soccer? Yeah. Doing futsal?
Yes,
Yeah. What's up?
You did a great job, honey.
Everyone's leaving.
Yes, you do.
Fabulous.
Everything. Everything.
You are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the show.
Might not be quite as exciting.
Yeah, I want to see these moves. I want to see these moves.
Maybe Bruce will volunteer with her. How about Bruce? He's got his jacket on.
I'll put up some prize money for that.
Yeah.
Back to official business.
Or some black.
Okay, we're going to move on back to the official business now. Mr. Frioni, would you read the approval?
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll call. I'm ahead of myself here.
Beal,
Here.
Capucci, Cooper,
Here.
Diamond,
Here.
Frioni,
Here.
Lebowitz,
Here.
Ulbrich,
Here.
Strautmeyer,
Here.
Reamer.
Here. Mr. Frioni, would you read the approval of the minutes, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I move that it be resolved that the board approves the minutes of the policy committee held on November 12th, 2018, the discussion meeting held on November 12th, 2018, and the regular meeting held on November 19th, 2018.
All in favor?
Second.
Second first.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And student council reports. Can I have Emma Nagel and Trenton Wood from Jefferson Middle School? Right.
Good evening. My name is Emma Nickel.
And I'm Trenton Wood. We are two of the representatives of the JMS Student Council Executive Board here to present to you tonight. The experience of Student Council have started off great this year, and we have wonderful projects planned for later this year.
Earlier this year, at the beginning of November, the 8th grade executive board attended the PASC State Conference. After a long bus ride and some cold weather, we finally arrived at Cedar Crest High School in Lebanon, PA. Over the 3 days we were away, we heard from 3 excellent speakers. We attended great workshops and participated in numerous leadership activities. Along the way, we also built our knowledge on PASC. Overall, our experience was phenomenal. We came back with new ideas and great leadership skills, and we all had a lot of fun. This year, to start our tradition of giving, we sponsored Jeans Day for teachers. This has become a favorite annual fundraiser for Penn State's Thon. We have several JMS alumni who have and do attend Penn State, and this is one way we can continue to support charitable efforts. Teachers donate to wear jeans every Wednesday until winter break. This year's Jeans Day resulted in a collection of $500. Though Penn State's Thon, this money will be used in efforts to end childhood cancer. We all wish that Penn State Thon organizations best of luck in their event this year.
Last week, as you all know, was the start of Hanukkah. Our council felt that this would be most appropriate time to gather our resources and host a week of activities to honor all those affected by the tragedy at the Tree of Life congregation. We called this week Pittsburgh United Week. This was about uniting the school and showing that there is no place for hate in our schools. Our council members made posters and hung them all over the building to raise student awareness of our cause. We ran announcements and videos every morning to remind students each day that we, as a school community, do not condone discrimination and that we will rally together to rid our school and community of hate. In addition to rallying our student and staff population to rise up against the hate in any form, we planned fundraisers to help rebuild Tree of Life. We brought wristbands with us for you this evening. We had these printed and sold for $1 in the cafeteria each day. The black and gold band has Stronger Than Hate on one side and Pittsburgh United on the other. We also had blue and white bands with Stronger Than Hate on one side and the Hebrew translation on the other. Along with wristbands, we sold something called tzedakahs. In the Jewish religion, they are charitable donations or charitable acts. They signify charity in the name of what is right and just. We brought you samples of some of our tzedakahs this evening. Our Sedecas were student-designed emblems that would be purchased for $1 and placed on a student's locker. On Wednesday, student council members also donated baked goods to hold an after-school bake sale. We ended our week by holding 11 seconds of silence, 1 second for each life that was lost in this tragedy. Our collection of Tree of Life thus far is $350. Due to the popularity of the wristbands, our donation is still growing. We hope that our donation to the Tree of Life will help them build and also demonstrate our dream to live in a society free of hate, where we can all appreciate each other's diversity.
This carries on over to what we have planned for the next coming months.
First, one of our general student council members, Allie Bruder, is spearheading a project to support the nonprofit Beverly's Birthdays. Beverly's Birthdays provides birthday cheer for children experiencing homeless and families in need. We are planning to start collecting new items that will be suitable gifts for children of all ages after break, but we feel we have a prime opportunity to communicate our intent. We plan to e-blast families about the project now, while they may be out shopping anyway. We can also suggest to our student population that if we receive a gift over the holiday season that they don't like or they don't use, that they'll return, instead of returning it, that they'll re-gift for a good cause. Through this protection, we hope to help Beverly's Birthdays in their goal to provide birthday cheer 365 days a year in the Pittsburgh region.
We plan to do several other events to try to brighten up the year and unite the school under all kinds of banners. We have distributed Wish Week forms, which allow students and staff to make wishes of all kinds of things, and we will attempt to grant as many of those wishes as possible. We are also starting to plan a talent show where students can show JMS some fun and maybe to impress us with their wacky talents. To help warm the winter, we also have hot cocoa sales for the students and staff.
Lastly, our other committees are working diligently to make our school a better place. We have a theme Friday whose task is to come up with ideas that are different and maybe even silly to brighten up our weeks and change it up a little. Our first theme Friday, Pajama Day, is coming up on Friday, December 21st. We also have school helpers who are trying to make the teachers' lives easier by helping them out so they can focus on teaching and not sweat the small stuff. There is also RAC, that stands for Random Acts of Kindness, which is a committee that goes around trying to brighten students' days with small gestures of happiness. We continue to work to make JMS a school community that makes us feel welcome. We want our school to be one that students can't wait to experience each and every day.
Thank you for inviting us to present this evening. We hope you all have a wonderful night, and now we would like to pass out our wristbands and sadakas.
Emma and Trenton, I couldn't be more proud of what's going on over there in that school and of the students. The Tree of Life synagogue incident certainly felt a lot of pain throughout all of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the world. And I just want to thank you for what you're doing for that. Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Ed.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Bob. Thank you very much.
Can I have the little white one?
Whichever one you want to give me. Thank you.
We have another round for them. Thank you. And now do we have Madison and Kyle from the high school?
Hello, everyone. I'm Madison Jones, and this is Kyle Block. We are the Class of 2020 co-presidents. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to speak with you about all the exciting things happening at our school. Throughout the month of November, the Class of 2020 collected non-perishable food items from our students, administrators, faculty, and staff members. Over 1,512 items were collected to be donated to the South Hills Food Pantry. Mr. Bob Brown, the director of the food bank, worked with us throughout the collection, and he told us that this donation of food will go a long way to help hungry people in our and the surrounding communities. There have been so many great concerts to consider attending this month. The orchestra and band concerts last week were wonderful, and the upcoming percussion ensemble concerts are this weekend. There's never a dull moment for our fellow classmates participating in the fine arts.
Currently, the National Honors Society members are organizing the annual Toys for Tots and Teens. Each homeroom plans on purchasing the gift requests of teenagers and young adults who are in treatment with or being supervised by the Family Links organization. Overall, we expect that all 82 homerooms will participate and close to 225 gifts will be purchased for the Family Links clients. The rehearsals for the class of 2019 holiday show begin tonight. It will be the 40th production of this annual event, and students from all 4 grades are participating. The senior class will continue the tradition of donating the proceeds from the show to various charities. The recipients this year are the American Red Cross Fund for the devastating California Camp Fire, the Four Diamonds Mini-Thon, the George Pogue Personal Achievements Award, the Jewish Community Center of Greater Pittsburgh, and the Mount Lebanon High School Schools Principals Award. During the intermission of the show, the sophomore class will be selling refreshments and love notes, and the student council will be selling Lebo gear and Mount Lebanon Foundation for Education blankets. Both of us are looking forward to going to this fun event. It will be held on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. in the high school's auditorium, and we hope that you will all be able to attend too. As this month winds down, everyone at the high school is looking forward to a week off from classes. We hope all of you have a wonderful celebration of the holidays. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And time for the board president's report right now. We have some Extra Mile Award reports. Tonight, I'm pleased to honor 2 Extra Mile Award recipients who were nominated by their school administrators for helping students in their schools in a critical moment of need. Our faculty and staff are trained every year to recognize basic emergency situations and how to respond to them until medical help arrives. This training was recently put to the test at the high school and Jefferson Elementary School. Our first Extra Mile recipient is Jen Sloan, a personal care assistant at the high school. Jen was present in a cafeteria and observed a student who began to display symptoms of choking. Jen immediately went over to the student and did not hesitate to perform the abdominal thrust, and the food became dislodged. The nurse was notified and the proper protocol was followed. Can we go up there now? Thank you. Thank you for what you did.
You're very
Chris.
welcome.
Yeah, get it up.
One at a time?
One at a time.
Got your picture, sorry.
Sure. I'd say saving a life is an extra mile.
For sure.
Yes.
Having one of these once, but let alone twice, I think is quite an interesting statistic. The second one is the Extra Mile recipient is Mr. Joe Mert, a custodian at Jefferson Elementary School, and he was also working in a cafeteria during lunch and noticed a child who was choking and appeared in distress. Without hesitation, Joe approached the student and provided the abdominal thrust which dislodged the food. We are very thankful for Joe and Jen's awareness and actions by using their training to assist our students in distress. I applaud them for their quick recognition and action to help these students that were in need. Joe?
Joe Mert.
Mr. Joe!
Moving on now to a science award. Shell Oil and the Pittsburgh Steelers sponsored a recent competition called Powering Pittsburgh, Make the Future Design Challenge. for students in Allegheny, Beaver, and Washington counties. Teams of 4 students presented their idea of the future for powering Heinz Field or the city of Pittsburgh. 9 teams competed in the final round at Heinz Field on November the 15th. 2 teams of Mount Lebanon students in the STEM Academy advanced to this final competition, and the 10th grade team named Future Female Scientists was named the 2018 champions of the high school division of Powering Pittsburgh. These students, along with the STEM Academy director, Susan Gillette Meir, received a check for $1,500 for the STEM program and a Steelers game day experience on December 2nd, where they were honored in a video at the Steelers game and presented with a check on the field. Please come up when I call your name to receive the Certificate of Achievement from the board. Chloe Spicula, Carmen Haggerty, Maddie Snyder, Ava Duchin, and also Coach Susan Mears.
Susan shared with us that while they were there, they got to meet Mean Joe Green and Franco Harris. What a bonus.
We could have used them last night.
Use anybody.
And young ladies, I want to thank you again for seeing young ladies getting involved in the science field. It's always something special in my heart. My oldest daughter is a doctor right now and was very much involved in the mathematics and sciences here in this high school. So I congratulate you and wish you the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you. All right, this last one now, I should be calling back the Washington Elementary students to help me with this presentation since they were probably were able to more eloquently do it, Jan. But I get my 2 cents worth now. So it was with great pride, this last but certainly not least tonight, that we're here to honor our business director, Jan Klein, on this special occasion of her retirement from this district. This month, Jan will leave the district after a stellar 37 years as career director of the business department. She is acknowledged by her colleagues in the school district and across the state as the gold standard for school finance directors. I'm going to insert something that I said to Jan at a little reception we had last week for everybody. Before I ran for school board director, I attended some meetings that in case I was elected, that I would at least be up to speed a little bit and be a little bit more prepared for the board. One of those meetings was a budget meeting held at the state level. At that time, there were well over 100 people in attendance from a lot of different school districts all around. The speaker spoke very highly of Ms. Jan Klein and the standards that we have here in Mount Lebanon, and used that as the gold standard as a role model for the other districts. Rob, you got some big shoes to fill there. I know. Okay, but I just wanted everybody to know that she is thought of highly throughout the state. Over her career, Ms. Klein has worked with 7 superintendents, 62 school board directors, and through the years, she has also cultivated a strong relationship with the staff and the Mount Lebanon municipality. In her role as Director of Business, Ms. Klein is responsible for providing all the business services for the $99 million school system budget here. During her tenure, Ms. Klein oversaw the financing of the renovation of the 2 middle schools in the late 90s, 7 elementary schools from 2000 to 2005, and most recently the $110 million renovation and new construction of the Mount Lebanon High School. Ms. Klein is known for her ability to explain complex financial issues for all to easily understand, including the school board directors. Thank you. and the nuances of the budget discussions to the complexities of the state plan-con process. And for those of you who don't know, that state con plan process, Jan, correct me if I'm wrong, but all the binders about that thick?
Yeah,
Almost a foot?
for each school.
For each school.
Yes.
And we received our funding from them, and everything was intact. And that is incredible amount of basically staying on top of it the entire time. And she's also had financial health, respect by the highest ratings from Moody's of any school districts on our bond rating, and that too is a test to her work here. Ms. Klein also chairs Allegheny County's Health Insurance Consortium, which is ASHIC, which is a $250 million self-insured healthcare trust led by 24 trustees, which are about half the labor and half the management. The consortium is comprised of 61 public schools here and a community colleges providing health benefits to about 20,000 employees covering almost 55,000 lives. Ms. Klein has been a trustee and a chairperson for this organization since 1997. Ms. Klein is a member of the board of Pittsburgh Business Group on health and was past president of PASBO and served as the board of ASBO. Ms. Klein has garnered many awards over the years, such as the ASBO Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting, the GAFA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, and the GAFA Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, the ASBO Meritorious Budget Award, and various PSBA, NSPRA, and Penn SPRA and PASBO awards, lots of awards. In addition to these honors, she was recently presented with a proclamation from Allegheny County in recognition of her service by designating December 5th as Jan Klein Day in Allegheny County.
December 5th is Jan Klein Day. Wow.
They meant every December 5th, not just this year.
Okay. On behalf of everyone in the school district and the school board, I would like to present the Certificate of Achievement to Jan Klein and wish her the very best. And also, we have, Jan, you've been nominated and will be receiving the Extra Mile Award. You certainly have gone that each and every year here with this school district. Thank you.
Speech.
Not to put you on the spot, Jan, but I think we're going to put you on the spot. If you care to give
there, wherever you.
Yeah, right here.
You can sit there.
When I started in 1981, I was excited. I was a single parent, small child, kindergarten, and I was just happy to have a way that I could support him. And it never dawned on me how much I would grow to love the community, how much I would become a part of the fabric and feel that I could positively change my little area of the community. This community has been wonderful for me. It was with the wisdom of everyone in the school district that I got advice that being a single parent was just exceptional. And any success that either of the two of us have had has been because of the team that's here in front of you today and behind me and in front of me as administrators. Superintendents such as Dr. Steinhauer, who have understood the need for professionalism in school business, and the need for conservatism. School boards who understood that you can't make short-term political decisions, that they have to be long-term. And we never forget that we're here because of the kids that you saw this morning. That's why we're here. That's why we come every day to do what's best. I can't thank this community enough for what it's given me. And I hope in my way I've been able to give back a little bit to the community to the best of my ability. Thank you all. Thank you all for everything you've done for me, for my family. And hopefully continue to be able to support behind the scenes if you ever need me. I won't be far away. Phones go a long way. They go to California. And I wanted to thank everybody in the community, on the board, administration, for everything that you've done for me, for my family, in getting to this position. Thank you.
I think, Jan, maybe I'd like all of us to go around for just a second. For me, you said something there that really struck home, and that it was that you opened my eyes and having to make a decision looking down the road further, many years down the road, that maybe a savings here could end up being detrimental down the road later on. And you were wise to point that out to this board and did so in a very eloquent way. And I thank you for that. You made me grow as a board member and also as a board president. I thank you for that. And I think everybody out there in the audience in the TV land should also know that she also very much approves of our new finance director, which will be taking over, or has taken over now, Mr. Rob Jelko. And you gave the thumbs up on him too, and I know we're going to be in good hands, and you're going to be there to help.
Do a great job for you.
Thank you. And open it up to the rest of the board if you have any comments. Thank you.
Well, the old saying is follow the money. That's what Jan does all the time. She follows the money, and as we know, it takes much more to run a school district than just bricks and mortar and students, of course, and parents and community. But behind that all is somebody who has masterfully managed the money for 37 years, and that's why we are where we are today.
Thank you.
Can I speak?
Yeah, please.
Just on a kind of a boring financial level, it's, I think, important for the community to understand that this is a $100 million plus operation. Our funding sources come from variety of local sources, state sources, federal sources, and in turn the expenditures go to hundreds of hardworking educators here in Mount Lebanon, and she has executed on that very challenging, at sometimes I'm sure overwhelmingly difficult challenge with skill and grace, and we are deeply appreciative.
I will add that I want to thank Jan personally. It's been a real pleasure working with you. Now 8 years worth for me. I think that the support that you provide to this board, and I know to the administration, needs to be understood by the community in the sense that we are responsible for the well-being, the academic and the safety, the well-being of the district and of our kids. And to be on this board and to know that the financial aspects of this district are in Jan's very, very good hands has been extremely helpful to us as we sit at this table. And Jan, we so appreciate everything you've done, and we all know that you've always done it for the kids, as we do. So thank you very much.
I'd also like to add that your ability to forecast the finances was one of the first things that amazed me, that you had it mapped out for years, not a single year cross-sectionally at a time, or even 2 to 3. But I've seen these graphs that you've produced on the bonds and things that go out for a decade or more. And you mentioned that this community helped you and your son, but what you've done is you've given back that the health of this school district. You've given that back to everybody that resides here, all of the kids that have gone through this district during your tenure, and will continue to do so because you projected out so well. So thank you. As a parent of a couple of those kids, I really appreciate what you've done for this district, for everyone. Thank you.
Mrs. Klein, if I may, I've watched you for 20 years as I've been attending these meetings, not since 1981, however, but anyway, for 20 years since I've attended these meetings, you've never played politics with the numbers around here. You've always acted with absolute competence and with your heart, and we're going to miss you. Thank you so much for your dedication to this district.
It's definitely going to be different without Jan's long-standing brain. I love the fact that we can always ask a financial question and Jan knows the answer, no matter if it was 5 years ago or 10 years into the future. She always knows where we should be going, and while she doesn't tell us this is what you should do, she gives us her best recommendation, which is, we all have learned, you take Jan's recommendations. And we're going to miss that. We're going to miss that institutional knowledge of what's been going on in the district for the past 37 years. And, it's going to be hard to not have Jan doing the financial reports because she knows them so well. I know Rob is going to do an excellent job, but you are going to be very, very missed.
Thank you all.
Jan and I talk about this often. We both started at exactly the same time 37 years ago. I don't know if that was your first phone call to the solicitor's office. It was the first time I called a school district because I had just started at this law firm. So Jan and I have known each other all those years. Can't even imagine how many times we've talked. Sometimes relatively simple things to resolve, very often very difficult, complex things to resolve. And Jan always made that process easier, though. She's so thorough. As she said, conservative, but practical. And the breadth of issues we work on together, we couldn't even cover them all, from tax appeals to bond issues, federal laws, state laws, reading arcane sections of the school code that relate to finance that will give you a headache in minutes. But we sort of figured it out. But it's been a true privilege working with you all those years and finding our way nearly all the time. And you'll be greatly missed, but I know you're going to have a blast.
So let me read one thing here. Jan will not, she doesn't like to toot her products. But I know she's most proud of one of her major products, and that's Daniel, her son. And if you look at Daniel's Wikipedia page, it says Daniel was born.
Wikipedia page?
Yes, he does. Daniel was born in 1976 as an American computer scientist and associate professor of computer science at the University of California, Berkeley. He was educated at Mount Lebanon High School in Mount Lebanon Township, Pennsylvania, earned a BA in mathematics, computer science, and linguistics by Cornell University, a master's of studies in linguistics at Oxford University, and a PhD by Stanford University. And he is a very well, highly regarded, very successful artificial intelligence lead thinker in the world. So I know that he is your most proudest accomplishment, Absolutely. In addition to the 2 grandkids and your daughter-in-law. But I know she's very proud of them, and I wanted to make sure that we mention them tonight.
Thank you. I am very proud of you.
Check out that Wikipedia page.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Thank you, Jan. That concludes my board report, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Reamer. At the conclusion of each school year, or each year, it's not the school year, it is customary to present the school board president with a small token of our appreciation in recognition of his outstanding leadership that he has provided to the district for the past year. So in that tradition, and on behalf of the Mount Lebanon School District, Mr. Reamer, please accept this gavel with our thanks and appreciation for your service to the students, staff, administrators, parents, and community, but don't use this as your real gavel tonight. So, congratulations, Mike. And it is engraved with the year on it.
Very nice. Thank you. Very nice. That is a lot of hard work here, and Mr. Lebowitz has been two-term board president himself, and it is, I'm sorry? Mrs. Capucci, who is not here tonight, also. And people don't realize the extra meetings and the time and extra phone calls, and sometimes those add up to quite a bit over the course of a week. And but it is with a great professional team here, and we can pick up the phone and call the superintendent, the solicitor, or anybody else here, that we get the answers that we need in very quick response. So thank you, and thank you to the administration team.
Thank you, Mike. And to move on to some business, we have Mike Len from J.T. Sauer and Associates, who will come up and give us a little progress report of the upper practice field. And as if you recall, last month the board approved a extension of 30 days, a change order. But Mike was going to give you a little bit more of an update.
More of an update,
yes.
Okay. First off, good evening. My name is Michael Len. I'm Vice President of Engineering for J.T. Sauer and Associates. First off, I'd like to apologize about my attire this evening. I just got off the ice down at the rec center coaching one of my sons, so I apologize about that. I'm sure you don't want to see what my hair looks like after wearing a hockey helmet. I want to give an update of the progress on the field. I'm sure everybody's been following it because this is such a visual project on the campus. As you know, the contractor was successful in removing the approximately 15 feet of fill on the site and clearing the site and getting it ready for the next steps. They were able to install a portion of the drainage system, stormwater drainage system for the site, and they are now at a point where they are ready to construct a segmental retaining wall on the stadium side of the practice field. Once that retaining wall is completed, then that'll bring it up to a base level of where the field will then be able to be constructed. One thing I'm sure you've seen passing the field is the condition of the field. I know the weather has not been very favorable to this project and to many other projects in the area. We've completed over 30 fields this summer alone, and the weather has affected the overall projects being completed. So the weather is, I guess, the portion of the project coming up is, as I mentioned, the segmental retaining wall. And that's going to be a very critical part of the project because naturally that's going to be holding up the field. The contractor is having difficulty dealing with the conditions left by the weather. One thing they're trying to do is they're trying to work with the soil to move it around and dry it out. As you've known this season, I believe, and don't quote me on this, we've had an additional 27 inches of rain so far throughout the year. So the contractor has said they will continue to work on the site when the weather conditions permit, and they're in good condition. And I think that is in the best interest of the project because you want this to be a quality project, and you want this to be a showcase to the community. And this is the step of the project where it's critical to have the soil conditions right. And so the contractor has said that they would work through the winter depending on the weather conditions. Unfortunately, the weather conditions are unpredictable, and it is not definite of when the contractor will be able to continue on the site. Thank you.
So what are you projecting, Mike, as a timeline? Let's think, throughout the winter. Can they work when the ground is frozen? Can they work when it's snowing? I mean, what are you predicting as a potential timeline for us?
Well, the main thing is they can work when it's frozen. However, the compaction will not be as ideal. Naturally, we would like to have 5 days of dry weather for them to work. Probably the ideal, they could probably do little things around the site to forward the progress, but the main earthwork operations may not be able to start until the winter starts to wind down. And at that point, then they'd be able to project the duration of the project.
There's no change orders associated with this?
No, there are no change orders.
No costs.
No cost change order, yes, correct.
I think we went, reflect my memory, maybe Mr. Lewis, with the, when we were doing the tennis courts, didn't we have to wait a while for compaction?
We did. So we're probably talking about restarting in April?
Hopefully sooner than that. Realistically, I'll just say for last spring, it was snowing in April. But the contractor will be monitoring, and as soon as they can get back on the site, they will. And actually, there'll be compaction testing done by a third-party agent to make sure that the soil is compacted at a sufficient rate.
I thank you. Is any other questions from the board?
So anticipated completion then, like June or July, or?
I would say that would be reasonable. Hopefully, I like to be optimistic. If we started in March, it would probably take about 2 to 3 months. So that would be March, April, May, opening of June. However, weather conditions dictate, it may go till June or July. So, yeah, we've seen this, like I mentioned previously. This has affected all of our projects. Everybody is asking, why there is the longer period that the contractors have taken to do this. And it's just been the unpredictability of the weather. But then also, the turf companies want to make sure that these fields are constructed the right way.
So do we.
Yeah, I was going to say, we definitely want to make sure that it's done properly, that it's safe for the kids, that our investment is a good investment. We should be done by August when high school fall sports and marching band and stuff start up again. I know that's going to be a big community question.
Yes,
so that, okay. I know that's
So we need the last
important
week of July pretty much is when things start, so.
And for the board's discussion, we have talked about this to our athletic director and are starting to get the word out to some of the community rec. Obviously, they would like to be on it throughout the whole winter if they could be on a nice day, but we've gone for how many years, Rick? 7 years without having that?
Correct.
So we've been able to make accommodations for 7 years. A couple months isn't going to hurt for the long-term benefit of making sure that we do a field and make sure it's right and that we don't get buckling and things like that just because we rush through it. So
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
That's it. Oh, that ends my report.
Time for comments from residents, taxpayers.
Board reports. Anybody have?
Oh, anybody have any board reports? I'm sorry. No? Most didn't meet for December here. Thank you. Okay. Comments from residents, taxpayers concerning action items for this meeting who have previously requested to speak. The limits are limited to 4 minutes.
There are none?
None. Moving on. Comments from residents, taxpayers concerning action items for this meeting. Presentations are limited to 4 minutes. One speaking. Okay. And unfinished business for board consideration or action. Dr. Sinai?
Jan, if you would go for the last time. Oh, we have no unfinished business, sorry. I got ahead of myself.
Business for board consideration or action.
For the last time, Jan, would you go through the financial items for the board's information?
Hey, Dr. Steinhauer. The first item is the treasurer's report. Typically, I tell you that it's very usual for the time of year, but we've added 2 additions to this report that I thought the board might be interested in. Halfway down the front page, you'll see under the Capital Projects Fund, at the very bottom, we have footnoted the $1 million that the board transferred for safety and security, and we will keep a running balance of the amount of funds that remain in that account. The money is up above in the ending ledger balance, but what I wanted you to know is that we are keeping track of that $1 million separately. Okay. The other item is on the very back of the report, the very last page. The next to the last account is a donation account that used to be the capital campaign account. We've now just noted that it is the donation account. And the ending ledger balance of $156,000 is the amount of money that people have donated, and it's available for allocation. Some of that you approved in projects last month that have not cleared, so you don't have quite that much money. But all of that is donated money because right above it you can see that the advance that was paid back to the general fund was done during the month of November. So it is now out of there. All of those funds are donated funds. In addition to that $156,000, we also have footnoted the amount in the Pittsburgh Foundation, and there's an additional $135,000 there. So you have both sets of money, one for endowment, one for capital and other general items. And that's the treasurer's report.
Any questions?
Otherwise, it's typical for this time of year. So, I had to put that in.
Monthly list of bills?
The monthly list of bills, there are two lists of bills, one for the end of November and one for the very early part of December. Administration went through these. We have looked at all of them, questioned some, and had appropriate answers, and we are recommending for approval.
Any questions? And number 3, Ms. Klein, tax refund.
There is one tax refund. It's a large one because it's a commercial refund of a little over $13,000. It's been reviewed significantly in the solicitor's office. It is recommended for approval. The building is the pharmacy across from St. Clair Hospital. It's that building that's over there that's a pharmacy. And this was the first round of hearings. They were successful. It will be appealed, and it'll have another layer of appeals through the courts.
Any questions? And list of usable, unusable equipment.
We have wonderful keyboards available for anyone in the community who would like to purchase them. Some are even in good condition, so they will be posted if the board so approves them.
Any takers? Questions? Dr. Straubmeyer, would you read the financial reports, please?
Yes, I would. I move that it be resolved that the board approves, ratifies, and accepts the following financial reports. The treasurer's report dated November 30th, 2018. The monthly list of bills dated November 30th and December 5th, 2018. The list of tax refunds dated November 30th, 2018. And the list of unusable equipment dated December 1st, 2018.
Second.
Questions, discussion?
Mr. President, I just wish to note that on the December 5th, 2018, the Jan Klein Day listing, there's a listing for the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, of which I'm an employee thereof, but it has nothing to do with the duties that I oversee, so I will participate in the vote, sir.
Noted. Roll call.
Beal.
Aye.
Cooper.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Albrecht.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Thank you, Jan. You did a great job with those.
Which is typical.
Finally got it right.
Finally.
You finally got it right.
And that was typical.
Yes.
That was typical.
Item number 5, Mr. Reamer.
Yes.
We are changing the school district treasurer with Jan's retirement. We are asking that Robert Galecko serve as the school district treasurer until June 30th, 2019 at no remuneration, and I'm recommending that for approval tonight.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Cooper, would you read that motion?
I move that it be resolved that the board appoints Robert F. Galecko as the school district treasurer until June 30th, 2019.
Questions, discussion?
Second.
Second. Okay, questions? Roll call.
Beal.
Aye.
Cooper.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Stratmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye. Personnel items, Dr. Steiner?
Mr. Reamer, the board has a personnel report dated December 6th, which includes appointments, changes of status, leaves, resignations, and retirements. I'm recommending that for approval tonight.
Questions or comments? Mr. Cooper, would you read that one?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves the December 6th, 2018 list of personnel changes.
Second.
Second, okay. Discussion? Roll call.
Beal.
Aye.
Cooper.
Aye.
Diamond. Aye. Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Stratmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Mr. Reamer, it is now time for the board to consider the 2019-2020 school district calendar, and I've asked Dr. Davis, the board has a draft copy in front of them, and I've asked Dr. Davis to identify some highlights of that calendar.
So first of all, thank you for your consideration and let you know that our process by which we build this calendar starts with a review of what's required by the Department of Education. So I can assure you that the calendar presented before you meets all of the requirements as set forth by the Department of Education in the school code. The second portion that we then look at is the collective bargaining agreement to make sure that what is outlined in the collective bargaining agreement is reflected in the school calendar. That includes the number of instructional days, the number of classroom management days, and the number of in-service days. And the calendar presented before you does meet the specifications outlined in the collective bargaining agreement. So after we build a draft, we then share it with various groups. That includes the administration, the MLEA leadership, and various clergy within our community to take a look at and give us feedback. Upon receiving that feedback, we make any necessary adjustments and then bring it forward for board consideration. So the calendar before you has a start date for students of August 26th and an end date, of course, weather dependent, of June 9th, 2020. And it's hard to say that 2020, wow. The template of this calendar really mirrors the template of the calendar that we're currently in, the 2018-2019 calendar. When you look at typical days off, where the classroom management days are and the in-service days are, where spring break is in the length of the winter break. So it really is a mirror of the calendar that we're currently living, with one slight adjustment, and that is in February. The classroom management day in February, one of our recommendations is to also denote that as the first snow makeup day, which would be a change in practice from what we have done in the past. From the student perspective, it would be a classroom management day if there is no snow makeup days to be made. But if we should have a snow makeup day before the February 17th date, and this recommendation actually came as part of the feedback that we received from the MLEA, is to engage that day as a snow makeup day. And the logic is we'd much prefer to get as much instructional time in throughout the course of the year, particularly as we're heading into advanced placement testing in May and PSSA and Keystone testing April and May. So that was a good recommendation, we thought, and so we put that forward for your consideration in February. The remaining snow makeup days would then fall at the end of the school calendar, as is historical practice. So happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I'm loath to ask any questions. I know how much time and effort everyone puts into this, and perhaps I'm uninformed, but I don't see a day off for the primary in May.
It's because it's in April 28th.
Okay. That is very early.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We contacted Representative Miller's office for that date.
Okay, thank you.
Ron, there's a lot of discussion the past years about the spring break as to whether we should have a full week. I think, and then I know last year we decided to go with Wednesday through Monday. Feedback generally was positive, I assume, and that's why we returned to the same situation this year.
Yes, sir.
Good.
My only comment, not really a question, is looking at the end of winter break, that the students return from winter break on a Thursday.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we, is that going to be similar to is that Thursday and Friday similar to our Monday and Tuesday of spring break, where we're missing a significant number of children, especially at the elementary level?
The attendance rate typically in our district is healthy. There are certainly families that travel around these times. In any family that would request a pre-approved absence, we certainly would grant. But we think it's prudent to return back to school on the second.
On the second, okay. Instead of pushing it out to 2 days at the end, okay.
Just one last question. Sure. Is this calendar also sent out to all parents?
Not for feedback.
Not for feedback, but once it's finalized?
Once the board approves it, yes, it is distributed to the community.
Aware of the make-up snow days?
They're not.
They're not?
Not yet.
Not yet, but
If
when
the
this
board
is
approves
finalized
it,
and voted on.
we would put it out tomorrow.
But they are well aware going into the school year
Yeah.
that these dates in June.
And Dr. Strautmeyer, you know, what's that day, President's Day?
Yes.
We know that some families like to take a long weekend that weekend, and if it were to happen that it is a snow day, a snow makeup day, parents do have the ability to fill out an educational trip form, and we generally grant those. And particularly in this case, we would grant it just because it's one of those days. We don't know whether we're going to have it or not.
And also in June, there was last year, I think, considerable feedback.
Correct.
Of parents unhappy with the extension, even though the calendar is published. And they're well aware of that they had booked trips.
Especially fifth grade families throughout the district were very, very unhappy. I had a lot of personal feedback on that one last year.
But it is widely publicized that once
it is
approved, this is the calendar.
Yeah, in other words, we're sort of asking, when you send your yearly winter closure email, a reminder of when our snow makeup days are, and that might be helpful because parents tend not to remember in January that means an extra day in June.
PTA
and
can
then
help
they
us
yell
out,
at
too.
me.
PTA?
A lot.
Thank you, Katie.
And Dr. Strautmeyer, to answer your point, not only is it reflected on this calendar, but it is also reflected in the printed calendar,
Sent
the
home.
activities calendar that is mailed home to families.
We mail it to every house.
But
So
the more reminders we
aware.
can
Well,
give
widely
people-
publicized
yes,
and well
I think
aware.
that's what
Yes,
Dr.
thank you.
Strautmeyer is getting at.
That's all I'm getting at.
You know, the
he and I both heard a lot of feedback at a specific school.
Yeah.
Well, I'm being polite here.
The challenge is, if you build too many snow days into the calendar, and then we end up not using those snow days, a parent's asking you, why are my kids off on a nice day when we could be in school? So that's kind of a balancing. Ron, Mary Beth, and I thought, let's give it a shot this year. Let's try one to see what the reaction is, see what the weather's going to be like, and if it works out, we can look at that again the following year. But we do widely publicize this many forums, but nobody remembers until June when we say, hey, we're going another week. So.
I just wanted
We just keep reminding them every board meeting.
I just wanted to comment. I think this is. I don't have children in the district anymore, but I always thought that this was an excellent balance act of the calendar with the start date, with the end date, and the in between. So I congratulate the three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I echo the sentiments here. And I know the work that went into it. And
Dr. Davis and Dr. Irvin.
Thank you both.
Team
Thank
effort.
you. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
And I'm recommending it for approval.
Right now.
Mrs. Olbrich, would you read the motion?
Certainly. I move that it be resolved that the board approves the 2019-2020 school calendar as presented by the administration.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call.
Field,
Aye.
Cooper. Diamond. Aye. Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
C2, Dr.
Yes. This is for approval of attendance and expenses for board members at national, state, and local conference and workshops. This is an annual request to approve attendance and expenses for school board members to attend national, state, and local conferences and workshops. And I'm recommending that for approval tonight. And just for the board's or the community's information, on average, the last 6 years, our 6-year average has been about $1,900. Actually, this year, the board has spent $0 on travel, so that's just a reference point. I am recommending this for approval tonight.
Any other questions? Mr. Lebowitz.
I move that be resolved that authorization be given for attendance and appropriate expenditures of board members at national, state, and local conferences and workshops for 2019.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Beal.
Aye.
Cooper.
Aye.
Diamond. Aye. Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye. Dr. Steinauer, number 3.
As part of the district's partnership with the Anti-Defamation League, the board is being asked to approve an agreement to provide a World of Difference Training Institute program for the district at a cost of $2,000. Representative faculty and staff from across all 10 schools in the district who serve on each building's No Place for Hate committee will participate in the training on January 10, 2019. The funding for this has been donated graciously by the Larry and Lynn Lebowitz. I'm recommending this for approval tonight.
Comments? I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Lebowitz and his wife for this very generous donation for something that I think is a very important part of our community to work towards. Thank you.
I, too, would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Lebowitz for their continued support and their continued use of their money to support the ADL and bringing the ADL to Mount Lebanon. I think it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Dr. Diamond, would you read that motion, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves an agreement with the Anti-Defamation League to provide the World of Difference Training Institute program training at a cost of $2,000 paid by a donation to the district.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Peterson, am I allowed to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure I don't mess it up.
Roll call.
Beal.
Aye.
Cooper.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye. Very good. And number 4, Dr. Steinauer.
We have 2 student trips. One is Jefferson Middle School to Washington, 8th grade to Washington, D.C. Jefferson Middle School is requesting permission to offer an 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. on April 15th and 16th, 2019. Students will miss 2 days of school and be responsible for the cost of the trip. The district will provide substitutes for the chaperones of the trip if needed. The second one is Mellon Middle School 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C. also. They would be going to Washington, D.C. on May 9th and 10th, 2019. Students will miss 2 days of school and be responsible for the cost of the trip. The district will provide substitutes for chaperones of the trip if needed. The superintendent is recommending both these trips.
Discussion?
Did they always go separately?
Yes.
One year they did go together.
Did they?
Yeah, and it was too difficult, I believe, on substitutes. Dr. Davis,
Yes.
Thank you. So it's better to split it up. Roll call.
Need a motion.
I'm sorry? Oh, motion, I'm sorry, yeah. Thank you. Dr. Diamond?
Sure. I move that it be resolved that the board approves the following student trips. Jefferson Middle School 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., April 15, 16, 2019, and Mellon Middle School 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., May 9 through 10th, 2019.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Beal.
Aye.
Cooper.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Frioni.
Aye.
Lebowitz.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye. Dr. Steinauer, C5, please.
This is a revision to our high school facilities fee schedule in anticipation of the high school upper practice field, which seems to be getting later and later, of being renovated before spring of 2019. We are presenting a revised fee schedule for future use of the fees of the field. The fees are consistent with what the municipality charges down at Wildcat and Middle, and I'm recommending the approval of these revised fees.
Questions?
It's only the one field that's changing, everything else is the same?
That is correct.
Will there be a porta potty, porta john provided at the upper practice field? Mr. Marciniak?
We haven't thought that far ahead, but we can certainly consider that.
Just thinking about
Distance to the building.
distance to the building and whether or not the building will be open if somebody's renting it on the weekends and the stadium being locked and things like that.
Good point, and if we ever get the field done, we will think about it.
Thank you.
Mr. Beal, would you read the motion, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves a revised high school facilities fee schedule for 2018-2019.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Beal?
Aye.
Cooper?
Aye.
Diamond?
Aye.
Frioni?
Aye.
Lebowitz?
Aye.
Olbrich?
Aye.
Strautmeyer?
Aye.
Raymer?
Aye. Mr. Frioni, would you make the next resolution on this?
Mr. Frioni, let me just make one comment. I'm recommending that the board approve a stipulated agreement as presented.
Mr. President, I move that it be resolved that the board approves a stipulated adjudication in the form presented.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Beal?
Aye.
Cooper?
Aye.
Diamond?
Aye.
Frioni?
Aye.
Lebowitz?
Aye.
Olbrich?
Aye.
Strautmeyer?
Aye.
Raymer?
Aye. Questions or comments from residents? Presentation of comments will be limited to 5 minutes. Any takers? Mr. Kubit.
Good evening. My name is Edward Cubitt. I'm at 133 Altadena Drive. I had made a promise to myself and to my wife and to many of you that I wouldn't come back to these meetings unless it involved my children or a matter of significant importance. I'd also made a promise to myself that every chance that I had, I would take the opportunity to say kind things about someone that I respect and admire. As my children are now growing up and looking at what they're going to do after high school, they ask me what I think all the time, and I like to tell them that if they can find something that they're good at and enjoy and that is necessary and needed, then they can achieve something which I would like to see them have, which is happiness. And there's no better example of that than Jan Klein. I'm not going to mention any of the awards and the professional accomplishments that Jan has had over the past 37 years. Everybody already, Mr. Reamer and the children from Washington have already done that, and those are well documented and worthily documented. Mine's a story of a Mount Lebanon family that has benefited from her strong leadership in the finance office. My family has been able to enjoy top-notch academic, athletic, and arts education thanks to strong financial guidance. And once you're involved in that, you realize how big of an effort and deal that is. I was fortunate enough to have the chance to work with Ms. Klein and in a professional manner, and when I witnessed and saw her in that capacity, I say thank you. But I was also fortunate enough to work closely with Ms. Klein and been privileged to be able to call her a friend. And to my friend Jan, I tell you congratulations, and I hope you enjoy everything that retirement has to offer you.
Thank you, Mr. Kubit. Thank you. Anybody else?
Bruce Slater from 140 Skylark Circle. I talked to the SIRE representatives here out in the hall after he talked, and also talked to Marciniak. Make sure no construction is done on frozen ground or excessive muddy conditions, because we want a good foundation under our facility, and also the wall, especially because I have seen issues with walls where people try to push it ahead when they shouldn't. Just stand back and wait. And I noticed the 8th grade is going to D.C. I commented before, and it's one of the most educational trips that could be possible. I had one only in my senior year in the spring, and I tell you what, I learned more in those 3 days and 2 nights down there than I could have learned in a semester. And I hope they appreciate it. I hope it's not too young for them, but because I was more ready for it, I think, as a senior than an 8th grader. But I hope they enjoy it. The other thing is tonight I was down at the swimming pool, and I was presented the shirt, and also I have a second one even. After 29 years of officiating, and 2 years before that doing other things with a swim club, But the girls decided to present this to me, and the 8th grade girls, again. That's the reason I'm commenting on 8th grade. And also the boys, not to be outdone, they had to do it too. And they're almost identical, except the color a little bit different. So I know they didn't order them together. But I enjoy being around the kids all these years, and like I maybe commented before, the little ones are so funny. They're maybe the kindergarten, first to 3rd grade, and I've done one out of Pitt for college kids about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they're funny too. All the way through. I enjoy being with them and doing things for them. And I wish there was more people, and also I don't get paid for that. It's a zero payment. If more people would help out and donate their time, their knowledge, because I didn't have any knowledge of swimming, because as some of you know, I cannot swim yet. And yet I've officiated the best out there. But I've seen Phelps when he was young, and I saw at least 3 Olympian medalists this last Olympics. But just because, don't be coward into not trying something new. Volunteer, and you never know what it will come to. Thank you.
Mr. Reamer, can I suggest we have a round of applause for Mr. Slater for a nice new jacket?
No, you blew it, Bruce. I was expecting Larry to either say nay on his,
Hey, Bruce.
or abstain. I was expecting that. All right, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay. Upcoming public meetings we held on January the 14th at 6:30 p.m. at Policy Committee meeting here in this very room. On January 14th at 7:30, board discussion meeting in room D025 here in this room. Tuesday. Oh, that's on a Tuesday, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. January 22nd, that is on a Tuesday this year because of the holiday. At 7:30 p.m. here, there'll be a regular board meeting. We also met in executive session to discuss student matters and negotiations. And I'd like to wish everybody a very safe and happy holiday season and a break, and especially for those people that will be traveling, and wish them safe travels. So thank you very much. And again, Jan, you will be in our thoughts and prayers, and thank you for your service again. Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Thank you.